Hello and welcome. So I just thought I'd make a video for all the new equipment that we got through the Wellness Fund. So I applied for it months ago and then finally got around to procuring it. So now we've got it, I thought I'd do a video, show you where it can be kept, show you what we've got, and I'm not going to show you in this video how to use it and different ideas for it, but I'll mention it briefly, but there'll be more videos to come that will include those things. So I just introduced the kit and where it's kept basically. So first off we got a mat, so good for yoga, for stretching, things like that. A bit more portable than the big mats as well. Like a yoga mat, it's a bit grippier as well, so might suit people. Got that. Obviously not to use any weights on it or anything, because if you drop some metal weights on that, it'll probably just pinch straight through it. We have some foam rollers. So I've got two different types. The blue one is a lower density foam. So foam rollers I usually use to massage a muscle. If you're going to be doing some stretching, then if you foam roll that muscle before you stretch that muscle, then you can get more out of the stretch. You can get a better range of motion and it intensifies the stretch. You get more bang for your buck, if you like, for that stretch. The blue one is softer, so things like calves and quads, because it's a muscle straight up against the bone, they can be pretty sore to roll, so that's a nice one for that. On areas of your body like your back or hamstrings, this is a denser foam and it's got knobbles, so you can get a bit deeper into the muscle. We've got 3 rollers in total. We've got 2 of those high density ones and 1 of the blue ones. When you're using them, just make sure that you're on a mat, not on the engine house floor, because they'll pick up bits really easily. Inside I thought we'll just keep these inside one of those until we get our new gym. We might get some hooks or whatever. These are bands primarily used for activating muscle groups. So like I said, this is all brief. I'll go into it in more detail in a subsequent video. Usually used for glutes. So your glutes are your butt and as well your hamstrings to a certain degree. So if you're doing some lifting, some deadlifting, or maybe some squats or jumping or something or other, these are a great tool to use to put on your knees during your warm-up. You might be just doing walking, sideways, forwards, backwards, but keeping your knees out and resisting what the band's trying to do helps to activate certain muscle groups. But I'll give you some more ideas for that. The different thickness just gives a different resistance. So I've got a thin one, and a couple of medium ones and a thicker one. Go into that more another day. Right, so we've got another set of kettlebells as well. So they're exactly the same weights that what we already had. It's just that to have a pair of kettlebells opens up a huge array of movements that you can do. So you can obviously do most movements just with one-sided, and they're great because that's really replicable of the kind of stuff that we do in our role, picking up things with one side. But if you wanted to do carries, one of them's not very heavy. You might have 2 in one hand, you might have 1 in either hand. So it just expands the repertoire of movements that we can use in training. Also, if you're doing group training, we've got more kettlebells. So if you're doing 2 people at the same time with a single kettlebell movement, then you can use the same kettlebell. So we've got more options that way as well. And then the final bit of kit are resistance bands, resistance or assistance bands, and these are a really versatile bit of kit, and I really like them. I use them a lot. So we've got different thicknesses. Obviously, the thicker it is, the more resistance it will give to a movement, or the more assistance it will give. All the way down to these thin ones. Just be mindful that when you're using them, if you're not careful with them, they will snap. So they have a lot of stretch on them, and I've got no problem with stretching it, a really thin one, as far as you can, but make sure the thing that it's anchored on has got no sharp edges. So I'll put a video specifically out for ways to use these, but there's so much that you can do. You can add it to any movement to make it harder, or you can add it to certain movements to make it easier. So like a pull-up, you could tie it to the bar that you're holding on to, put your feet in it, and as you pull up, it's obviously going to help you up. So it makes a pull-up easier. So maybe if you can't do a single pull-up yet, if you use one of these, you could do multiple, and it's doing the exact same movement. You'll be working the same muscle groups at an easier way. So it's a really great way of getting a pull-up or developing that strength. We've got 12 in total. We've got 2 full sets, which is great because sometimes a movement will call for 2 bands, one on either side. Maybe sometimes I'll do dumbbells where each one's band resisted. So maybe on my flat back doing bench or something, and I could anchor that to the dumbbell, to the floor or to the bottom of the bench and pressing it. That's an example where you would use a pair. So I've got 6 of each set. So let's try and keep them up here. Good place to use it since we can't use this pull-up rack anymore. 12 up there. And I think that's it. If you've got any individual questions about how it can be used or whatever to help you, like these bands can be used in rehab. A really common one for these really thin ones are for rotator cuffs, which are your shoulder stability muscles. There's 3 small ones here. Really good to use it for different movements to help strengthen those rotator cuffs. So that's a really common example of where that's used for rehab. But like I said, if you've got a personal question like, oh, how can I use them for this, or have you got any ideas of what I can do for this, even if it's not related to the new equipment, absolutely fine, like I'll give you some advice. But look for the next videos coming up. Alright, thanks. Bye!